Hello and welcome back to the Julia the Knitter podcast. This is episode 5 and today is December 23rd, 2017. This is a podcast mainly about knitting and sewing and crafting in general. I am coming to you from Queens, New York, where I live with my handsome husband, my 2 crazy kids, and my wild beast of a dog. Happy Christmas Eve if you guys do celebrate Christmas. I'm going to try to keep today's episode fairly quick. I haven't recorded in about 3 weeks at this point because I've just been so deep in the throes of Christmas knitting. But I wanted to do a quick episode with you guys to give you a look at what I've been working on, and I want to wrap these things up. So I want to show you how they came out before I give them to the recipients. As I said, I am recording today on December 23rd. I'm not going to release this episode until after Christmas. This way I know that everybody who is receiving a handmade present from me has had a chance to receive their present, and I won't be spoiling any of the surprise. So I'm going to jump right into it. I know that you guys have seen these before, but I'm just going to show you everything that's being gifted for Christmas this year. So for my husband, I have a pair of vanilla socks for him, knit up in the Northern Lights colorway by Baron Vola yarn. I really like the way they came out. They're really soft. They are going to be nice and warm. They've got really cool colors in them, and I hope that neon green is not a little too wild for my husband, but I think he's seen the yarn before quite some time ago. He probably doesn't remember it, and he did like it then. So I'm hoping that he likes these. They should fit pretty nicely. It's just my standard vanilla sock with a 2x2 rib and heel flap and gusset with a wedge toe. That's how I did most of my vanilla socks. Next up, I have knit the Norwegian Mittens for Mimi is the name of the pattern by Anna Mazzarella, and I knit these up for my daughter in the size small using US size 4 3.5 millimeter needles, and they are a colorwork mitten. I use this turquoisey blue with this light gray color, and it's a nice little florally leaf pattern, crisscross on the back and a leaf on the thumb. I haven't blocked these yet. They are going to get blocked later on this afternoon, but I wanted to show them off before I didn't have time to block them before I recorded today, so there. But all my ends are woven in, and they'll get blocked, and I believe that, a little bit of this puckering will even out with blocking. But they came out really nicely. I really enjoyed knitting this pattern up. I was on a little bit of a color work kick while I was doing my Christmas planning, I guess you could say. And I really need a new pair of mittens. Mittens I have holes in them, and I just haven't gotten around to knitting myself a pair of mittens in ages. So I'm planning on a colorwork pair of mittens for myself once Christmas is over. I have had about enough of knitting for others as I can stand for a little while. I kind of miss knitting for myself. Is that terrible? I hope not, but oh well. What are you going to do? I can only be me, right? So, what am I drinking today? Today I am drinking a little bit of my favorite tea this time of year. It is the Santa Secret tea from David's Tea, and it's just a black tea with peppermint. It's got little candy canes in it, and just has a nice taste. I have a little bit of almond milk in it, just a splash, and it just feels good, and it's nice and festive and warm. There you go. I've been drinking a lot of that. I am totally caffeinated, if you can't tell. I haven't been doing much sleeping lately because I have been just working on all of the things for a long time. There's been a lot of late nights lately, so bear with me. Next up on the list, I know you guys have seen most of this. I don't think it was finished last time I recorded, but it's finished now. It also hasn't been blocked, but all the ends have been woven in. But this is the Campfire sweater by TinCanKnits, and I knit this up out of Rowan Pure Super Let me check my notes. Hold on. Rowan Pure Wool Superwash DK. And I knit this up using a size US 6 and a US 3 needle. I really like the way it came out. The color work came out really nicely. It has a nice shawl collar, which I think will look really nice on my son. I knit this up in the size 3 to 4 because my son is kind of, like size 3 is a little big on him right now, and size 2 is starting to get a little tight. But he grows so much. So I'm hoping this will get us through this winter and maybe next winter too. So I knit it on the big side. I added about a ½ an inch to the sleeves and the body, again with the hopes of it lasting a little bit longer because my son is pretty tall for a 2-year-old. My husband's also very tall too, so he obviously doesn't take after me. But hopefully this sweater will last a little while. It was an absolute pleasure to knit. I really enjoyed using the Rowan yarn. It's been a while since I worked with Rowan yarns, and I'd used Rowan yarns to knit a really nice cabled sweater for my husband a few years ago. And I enjoyed it then too. It wasn't the same yarn base as this one, but this, for superwash yarn, it feels really woolly, which I really enjoyed. And I have bits of leftover, so I'm really looking forward to using those up in some way. We'll see what I can come up with. Next up on the list, I told you I'm going quickly today, I'm sorry. Next up on the list is the Mistletoe Kisses socks by Knitting Expat Designs. Mina Phillip from Knitting Expat. She has a podcast also. She released both the Cozy sock collection and another sock club for 2018. But when you ordered the sock clubs, this pattern came with it, the Mistletoe socks. Mistletoe Kisses socks. And it's a really nice, easy pattern. What I like about her patterns is that they're just like a step above vanilla. Because sometimes you need a break from plain old regular vanilla stockinette socks. And her socks, they add a little variety. They add a little bit of texture sometimes. There's all kinds of different things that her socks have. But they're not difficult. But they kind of just, they up the vanilla sock to the next ante, I guess you could say, to the next level. But they're nice. I didn't do the patterning on the back of the leg, but the patterning on the front, it's got this nice little slip stitch design. This particular pattern is designed with self-striping socks in mind, and a lot of self-striping socks have like an even number of rows for each stripe. This particular sock yarn didn't. So normally what you would do is you would do the slip stitches when the color's changing, so this way you'd get, like, on some of the rows you can see it's like a different color for the slip. But I didn't really, I could have made myself crazy and done that, but I didn't. I also, modification to this pattern, I did not do the short row heel that the pattern calls for. I did my standard heel flap and gusset heel. Personally, I like a heel flap and gusset for a few reasons. One, I don't have to think really too hard when I do it because it's something that I've done 100 million times, and it's not a lot of extra brain work to do. So I kind of can just do it automatically. Two, it just fits me right. And it fits my daughter right too. Short row heels, they don't seem to have enough room. I don't know. They always feel too tight on my foot, so I go with the heel flap and gusset. But yeah, so I knit these up. I knit them up using US size 1 needles. I actually, normally, 9 times out of 10, I knit my socks using magic loop, 2 at a time, on size, it's a 1.5 because it's an Addy needle, an Addy US size 1.5 needle. But I did these using DPNs, which I don't usually do. And every now and again, I find I particularly do it when I'm knitting socks for my daughter. I knit these up using wood DPNs, wooden size 1 DPNs. And it was actually pretty enjoyable. I don't know if I'll do it all the time. I don't think I'm a convert to DPNs. I like having both my socks done at the same time because I have always second sock syndrome. And I know that if I make a mistake on one foot, it's more than likely that I'll be making the same mistake on the other sock as well. So I'm not perfect, but that's my reasoning. So those are the Mistletoe Kiss socks by Mina Phillip. I think I've called these patterns 5 different things. Mistletoe Kisses socks by Mina Phillip of the Knitting Expat podcast. But oh, the yarn it was deep stash. I've had this yarn for 6-7 years. It is Zitron Trekking XXL in colorway 401. Funny story, I actually knit my daughter's, the first pair of socks I knit for my daughter, I knit out of this yarn. And I haven't touched it since. My son is actually wearing those socks now. They fit him perfectly at the moment. But now I knit these up in it. I was glad to be using it. What I like about trekking yarns is that they're really durable and they last a long while. They're not the softest yarn, but they're a good workhorse yarn. You know that they're durable. They're gonna last. They're in it to win it, baby. Okay, so that's 4. That's 4 so far. Okay, so the next knitting project that I've been working on is the Curran pattern by Isolde Teague. Now this hat pattern was part of her Knitworthy 2 collection. Every year, Isolde puts out a Knitworthy collection, and a new pattern from the collection is released every week. 1 pattern a week for, is it 8 weeks? I think there's usually about 8 patterns or so. 8 weeks before Christmas. And they're designed to be relatively quick knits that you can knit for the Knitworthy in your life. And they're good for gift knitting. And I've knit a few things from the Knitworthy collections, and they're always such a pleasure to knit. I have now knit 1, 2, 3 of these hats, and I have a 4th one that I do need to cast on. So let's go into the details. The first hat I did, all the hats have been knit up in Quince & Co's yarn with the lark base. It's a good worsted weight base. I knit the first hat with the extra long rib because the recipient, he's a little bit of a hipster. I think he'll go for the extra slouchy hat. Also, if he wants to roll it up, you can roll it up good, and it'll keep the ears nice and warm. All right. So the first hat is knit up in this dark navy blue. It looks almost black. I don't think the color is really showing up all that well on the camera, but it is the Peacoat colorway, again on Quince & Co. Lark, and it's got these nice cables. It's really hard to see with such a dark yarn, I guess. My lighting in this apartment is not great, and it's pretty gloomy out today. It's really rainy. What I really enjoyed about this pattern is the way the decreases are hidden into the cables. I just thought that was so clever. Maybe I just haven't knit hats in a while, but I don't knit hats very often, I guess. I really only knit them around Christmas, I think. But I just really enjoyed everything about this pattern. It wasn't overly complicated. I love the way it looks. I love the way the decreases are hidden into the cables. I just thought that was really cool. So much so that I have now knit it 2 other times. So this is the size large with the extra large brim. So you can fold it up, you can wear it, extra slouchy, what have you. But in our family, we have a really large family. So we do a Secret Santa every year. So this is going to my Secret Santa recipient in addition to this really cool, he's a really big Manchester United fan. So I got this real cool history of the team book, and it's called newspaper clippings and stuff. It's got his name engraved on the front of the book. It's real cool. So he's got his hat, and he's got his Man U book, and it'll be awesome. That's my plan. All right. Second verse, same as the first, right? So, again, here you could actually see the hat a lot better on this green because it's not quite so dark. But it is, again, the Kurum hat by Isolde Teague, again, in the size large, although I didn't do the extra long brim. This hat is going to one of my brothers. This colorway is Boreal, which is in this nice deep pine green, which really suits my brother. So that's that. Let's see if we can see the crown, because even I like the crowns of hats. I think they're kind of cool looking. Pretty, huh? Yeah, I know. I know. But here, I'll try it on so you can kind of get an idea of how it fits. We're a family of big heads. My brother's heads are slightly bigger than mine, so this is a little big on me. If they want to roll it up, you know, it's long enough. Like, I don't know. They can if they really want to. I think it looks better. Not. Oh, they could wear a little slouchy. My brothers aren't the slouchy hat types. But that's that. In the green Boreal color, again by Quince & Co. Then my other brother, I knit his up also in Quince & Co. Lark, and this is the Kitty Wake color way. And it is one of their heathered colors. And this actually, I think it's a little softer than the other two. Again, same pattern, shorter brim. They're all size large. Such a pleasure to knit. I do have one more of them to knit up. I cast off the last one yesterday night. The fourth one I'm going to try to cast on today. It's probably not going to happen until tomorrow, but I know I'm not going to see that person on Christmas, so I'm not going to absolutely make myself crazy because I'm already like kind of there. So bear with me. But I know he's home seeing his family his family lives in Vegas, but I'm not sure if he's in Vegas or California where his grandmother lives. But I'm not going to be seeing him until after Christmas. So I know that I can give it to my brother to pass off, you know, if it's done on Christmas, which it may be, you never know. But I'm not going to really just push myself to get it done for Christmas Eve when I see my brothers, when I'm giving my brothers their presents. So, but that will also be a size large in Quince & Co. Lark. That one will be black though. Okay. That's all the knitting. Now I know for a few weeks I've been hinting at this real big project that I've been wanting to do. And guys, I did it. Now, get this. I should have given myself way more time to work on this. I don't know, I've been in total Christmas denial this year. Do you guys get like that? I know Christmas is coming. In fact, I normally start all this stuff in like August and September. I didn't start till almost Halloween to get all my Christmas knitting and stuff done. I didn't start this next project until about a week and a half ago. I think I bought the fabric 2 weeks ago. Now, it's a little crazy. Okay, so let me give you a little background on what it is. I'll try to show you. It's really big. I don't know if I'm going to be able to really show you well how it came out. But bear with me. So I've been wanting to learn how to make a quilt for a really long time. And then over the summer, Jacqueline Salem of the Brooklyn Knit Folk podcast put out this quilt. She was doing a quilt along. And she put out these tutorial videos on YouTube about how to make a quilt. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, I could totally do this. There's no reason why I can't do this. And, you know, Jacqueline is always talking about, you know, through her Instagram or, you know, on her podcast, that they don't take her that long to do. So, you know, in my mind, someone who's never, ever made a quilt before, yeah, I could totally get this done in a week. Totally get this done in a week. It won't be a problem. I've been up so late this week getting this done. It's not quite finished, but I think by the end of today, if it's not finished, it'll be mostly finished. And I'll explain. So I did all the piecework. I did the whole top. That actually took me the longest. And then I quilted all the layers. and I finished that yesterday, and I trimmed all the edges, and I cut out the binding, and I sewed on the binding on the front, but the binding on the back side, you have to hand stitch it by hand. This is a queen size quilt. it's freaking massive. So that is my goal for today. So once I finish recording, I'm going to throw all these knits in to be first a little soak so they can get nice and blocked, and they'll be dry for Christmas, and they'll be good. I'm going to be hand stitching 336 inches of binding today. That is my goal, and I have it in my head that I might even have this done by this evening so that I could help my husband wrap the Christmas presents, because we haven't done that yet either. We are so behind on Christmas this year. But that's my plan. So let me show you this beast. Sorry, my dog is climbing in my lap at the moment, so bear with me. But let me show you this beast. It's sitting right here next to me. It has a lot of pins in it. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to be able to show you all this. But here, maybe if I just show you this corner, you'll have an idea of what it looks like, kind of. Okay, so it's got all these diagonals, and in the middle it meets in a diamond. Okay, and it's red, blue, gray, and white, and the binding is a lighter blue. And they're 6-inch squares. You know, the top layers, they were actually pretty uneven. If I do this again, I think I will do it again. I'm already planning my next quilts. Is that weird? I'm going to do things slightly differently in the way I organize things and get them done, and give myself a lot more time. So as you can see, I'm in the middle of hand stitching my binding on. There's a lot of pins in here. I have about half of it pinned at the moment, and I'm just going to work on getting that done, and then I'll pin the rest. Because one, I don't have all the pins in the world, and two, as I'm working on this, I've been sitting on the couch, you know, snuggling up with my son. We've been watching Christmas movies and drawing and all that kind of things. And, you know, he likes to have the blanket on his feet while we're sitting together. So I don't want to have him poked with all these pins. Secondly, it's a really, really big blanket. It's like, what were the measurements? 80 inches across and 88 inches down. It's big. Huge freaking quilt. So it's all over the place. It's sitting on the floor while I have it in my lap, stitching away. My dog finds it very comfortable also. so there. That has been taking up most of my time for the last few days. I have had no spare time. I think my husband misses me a little bit because, you know, in the evenings once the kids go to bed, that's usually our time to snuggle up and watch movies together and, you know, spend time together, because he's out of the house all day working, and I'm here with the kids, and you know, I kind of miss my husband. So I'm looking forward to this being done, if only so I could, you know, get back to our regularly programming. Sorry, I'm a little batty today. Exhaustion. And I'm sure, you know, it's not just me. I'm sure all the rest of you are like that, because you're all getting ready for Christmas too. Or, you know, not everybody celebrates Christmas. Whatever holiday you're celebrating, every parent this time of year, I know, is completely out of their mind. I got all my Christmas cards out 2 days ago. 2 days ago. I write out about 60 cards. They go to 2 countries. Like 10 states. I have a really big family. And so does my husband. So I have a lot of Christmas cards to write. So I was doing that all week too. So I'm sorry that I haven't actually recorded anything sooner. But I think once the holidays are over, I will definitely be getting into a more regular routine with the recording, and you know, getting back to more me knitting, I want to talk to you all about an idea that I had. So I know not everybody makes themselves crazy knitting things for people for Christmas, and you know, crafting. I'll just say crafting in general, because not everybody knits, not everybody crochets or sews, you know. But you know, a lot of people make things for Christmas. Do you miss making things for yourself? Because I do. So what I'm thinking is maybe come January, thinking about maybe a selfish knitting knit along. You know, a just for me kind of knitting. What do you guys think? Comment below. Send me messages. Tell me. What do you think? Are you in? Let's think about it. I'm gonna mull it over while I drink my tea. It's only cup number 2 today, so I'm doing pretty well with that. But okay. So that's really all I have to talk to you guys about today. I wanted to keep it fairly quick. I know I kind of rushed a little bit going through all the projects, but I wanted to get this up and recorded now so I can go block everything and I can wrap everything up. Plus these gifts aren't going to be here for very much longer, so I wanted, before I give them out, to make sure, you know, you guys all got a chance to see what I was working on, and so it doesn't look like I've been sitting on my tuchus with idle hands for the last few weeks, because I definitely have not been. If I was sitting, if I was standing, if I was walking, if I was waiting in line, I was working on something. So that's been it. I'm ready for a little bit of a break. I'm ready for the pace to slow down a little bit. I have one more hat to do, and then all my gift knitting is done, and I'm looking forward to that. I know that a lot of people do the Christmas Eve cast on. Danny from Little Bobbin's Knits started that a few years ago. Every year I say I'm going to join in, but to be honest, I'm usually still working on stuff come Christmas Eve, and I don't know. I'm gonna try, because hopefully this will all be done by tomorrow night. But I'll probably still be wrapping. I don't know. We'll see. But I look forward to seeing what you're all working on. I want to hear all about what you're doing. I hope you guys all have a great Christmas if you celebrate. If you don't, I hope you're having a wonderfully happy whatever you do celebrate. And that's all. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Mwah!